You're the kicker. You're barely a teammate. They don't consider you totally on the team unless, like, for years and years. That's the straight-up truth about it. If you're a kicker, you got to prove yourself maybe double, triple time, and that, unfortunately, is what happened to our young guy.
It doesn't matter if you think it's unkind or not, but no, they do not think the kicker is their teammate. They don't think you're on their team. I got more good news. You ready for this?
More?
Well, first of all, we're going to go to the phones, but our first caller is one hell of a caller. This is a caller. This isn't just like, oh, let's go to Joe in Santa Clara. No.
Is a caller?
His name is Mark Ibanez.
What?
Mark Ibanez. First and foremost, Grandy knows that you spell Mark with a K. And secondly, he's a legend around these parts. And I love whenever he's inspired to give us a call. Mark, how you been, man?
Hey, everything's good. Retirement is everything it's cracked up to be.
I love it. I love it. You were a smiley guy during your career, but now, I mean, you can just hear the smile on you, Mark.
Well, I appreciate that. I was getting a kick out of your conversation about Doug Bryan in particular and that game where he missed a field goal, potential game winner against Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Well, I had kind of an interesting anecdote about that, and I couldn't resist calling you guys. I hear you every afternoon, and so I did the post-game show, the 49ers point after, and we were at that dreadful game when Doug Bryan happened to miss that kick, and he was in a little bit of a slump anyway. And our post-game guest was the great offensive lineman, Harris Barton. You guys remember him,
of course, right?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons we always had Harris on is he was never afraid to speak his mind. So he comes on, and, you know, he's all frustrated. He's sweaty, he's still in his pads. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I've repeated this story a few times, so it's still pretty fresh. And he was like, you know, we're down in the pits, we're grinding, we're shoving, blood, sweat, and tears, and this little guy prances out on the field, and he doesn't even have a dirty uniform, and he misses this kick from like 32 yards, and I can't believe it. I can't believe we keep a guy like this, you know? And he was just outraged. It was one of the most candid, overly emotional interviews you'll ever hear. We got him fresh before he even showered, and sure enough, he got released the next day. And him being a Danville guy, I knew how to get a hold of him, and I actually interviewed him after the release. It might have been like Tuesday. And I'll never forget what Doug Bryan said, you know, about the Harris Barton comments. He said something to the effect of, you know, I thought a teammate would have my back a lot more than that. You know, I really didn't expect Harris to say something like that. And internally, I'm thinking, dude, I'm sorry to break it to you, and kind of alluding to what you earlier said, Mark, is like, you're the kicker.
Yep.
You're barely a teammate. You know, they don't consider you totally on the team unless, like, for years and years. I mean, Ray Wershing's about the closest guy I knew on the Niners that was accepted as a true teammate. And then on the other side, remember George Blanda used to kick, and Ray Guy. Those guys were dudes who were accepted by everybody. But that's the straight-up truth about it. If you're a kicker, you got to prove yourself maybe double, triple time, and that, unfortunately, is what happened to our young guy here, man. He just like you said, helmets were flying, man, and people were ticked off.
And it's a fickle thing, because in that game, Mark, as you well remember, he hits a 51-yarder to give him the lead. Jim Harbaugh, quarterbacking the Colts, leads him back.
Right.
Kerry Blanchard puts him ahead, and then Doug Bryan from 46, no good. And the rest is, as you know, history.
Yeah, and as they always say, you're only as good as your last kick, right? And that's a perfect example of it. And, you know, I was down on the field when that happened, and I'm glad you pulled up the info there, because in my mind, it seems shorter. It seems shorter than 46. I was emotionally wrapped up in that game too. But when you guys were talking about, and Doug Bryan, a class act, good guy, soccer star, and as you mentioned, guys, he had a really strong dozen years in the NFL, and he bounced back. He was strong and he withstood it, and I'm sure that was a low moment for him. But he's got some character and he bounced back, and as I'm sure Looney will do too.
Yeah, hopefully Moody. Yeah, hopefully. I know Moody's and Loonies on all the teams. We can't even keep track. But anyway, no, exactly right. Like go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, you know what? One of the great things about being a retired sportscaster, you don't have to sweat it about screwing up guys' names anymore.
Yeah,
it's so great.
You've earned that. I'm just in your honor. I'm gonna call him Looney for the rest of the day. Who cares? Who cares? Okay. Buddy, it's always good to hear your voice. Call anytime.
I appreciate you. Great show, and I like the dynamic between you two. Keep it edgy. I like it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Enjoy that retirement.
That's a good man right there. That's Mark Ibanez.
And if you ever happen to come across him, just check the guns. Sneaky guns.
It's a show.
It's a total show.
It's a show.
Especially in the summer months.
I mean, look, he is not wrong. And I want everybody to know this today. It doesn't matter if you think it's unkind or not, but no, they do not think the kicker is their teammate. They don't. They go to training camp in August. Many of these places, it's 100 degrees. And they are absolutely trading sweat, trading blows, trading paint, doing all of these things. And the kickers are over on the side of the field playing hacky sack. They don't think you're on their team. They just don't.
And it's a zero tolerance when it comes to things like that because, Doug Bryan kicks a big one, 50-plus, to give you the lead. Kerry Blanchard with the answer, and now you got to make another kick to win the game, and you don't. Forget what happened about 12 minutes earlier. That doesn't matter anymore. Mark's right. You're only as good as your last kick, and for Jake Moody, forget that last kick that he made, and the touchdown is what they needed to win it. It's the two previous, one blocked, one missed, and that's it.
First of all, the main thing is you don't have time to let him work out his issues. We've seen this. We've had conversations like this about James Wiseman and Trey Lance and the others. Like when you're trying to win, you just don't have time to watch people work out their issues. But even if you think that Jake Moody's going to be good someday, sometimes it's just like, but it can't be here. It can't be here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If Matt Stafford gets hurt this year, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo will come back and re-find who he used to be. But he can't do it in Vegas. You're not allowed back there anymore.
No.
That went so bad that you're just like, it's tainted. It's like you can't, that relationship has to be over. And I feel the same way about Moody and the Niners.
Little Camilo Duvall.
Little bit.
Jake Moody, Duvall had some good moments here, and he had some rough moments, and you got to a spot where you realize he's not a bad player, but he needed to go do it somewhere else, and so you found a way to have him go somewhere else. And it's the same thing perhaps with Jake Moody. Inside 40 yards, Jake Moody, 90.9% for his career. Eddie Pinheiro, 95.7.
Yep.
So that's inside of 40, which you got to be closer to the Pinheiro numbers, 96%.
Yeah, you got to hit those.
As opposed to 91. And, PATs are almost identical, and they both have kicked in the extended PAT era. So the only thing that's going to be interesting if they sign Pinheiro is if it's 4th and 2 at the 38-yard line, what do you do, Kyle Shanahan? Do you bring him out for a 55-yarder, or do you go for it?
Depends on the situation.
Hey, really quick, guys, before we hit a break, we have some news from Adam Schefter. The Niners are officially signing Eddie Pinheiro.
Eddie D.
No.
Eddie De Niro.
You need to stop that.
Eddie De Niro.
It's a one-year deal, and he's on the active roster.
All right, so
he can't be Eddie D here.
He's passed his tryout. He kicked straight.
What
Good
about
job.
Ed D?
Ed D. Nero? Whatever.